Hi, I'm Philip Lempa from APEC Virtual Selling, where we help companies sell more SaaS by leveraging modern virtual selling strategies. In today's video, I will discuss with you how to get started with virtual selling as a SaaS sales rep. If you're watching this video on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel and enable notifications. And regardless of where you're watching this video, please chuck it a like and feel free to leave a comment. This will help us reach more SaaS professionals and keep working on this content. Right, so we have to start by defining what actually is virtual selling. So to me, virtual selling is using virtual/remote communication as your main communication method throughout the entire sales cycle. Now, to me, that doesn't mean that if at some point in the sales cycle you decide to meet the customer in person, that's no longer virtual selling. Again, to me, virtual selling is about primarily using virtual communication methods in the sales cycle. Now, I personally closed deals that were 6 and 7 figures in US dollars completely using virtual selling without ever meeting my future client face to face. However, there were also instances where I've heavily relied on virtual selling, used those virtual communication methods as my primary communication, but at 1 or 2 points in the sales cycle, I had to meet with the prospect face to face to be able to close the business. Now, for me, the first thing that's needed to get started with virtual selling and be successful is the right mindset. As a sales individual, you have to buy into the concept of virtual selling. Now, what can be helpful with that is to think about the benefits of virtual selling, which is location independence as a sales professional, the ability to reach new markets, significant time savings and speeding up the sales cycle, and more innovative ways to sell, more innovative ways to use technology. I like to hope that as SaaS sales professionals, we embrace for the most part new technology and using it. Now, there are, of course, disadvantages to doing things virtually or primarily doing things virtually. One thing that I've had many people talk to me about is the lack of business travel. But I like to think that the benefits outweigh the disadvantages. So for instance, the ability to be location independent and the ability to potentially have more time to do your personal travel outweigh things like not being able to travel for business anymore, or a reduction of it at least. Now, the other thing to think about is to understand that in the post-2020 world, virtual selling really will be, and the skills around it really will be essential. So what I mean by that is, let's say you are in a SaaS role where actually, things calm down in your market and you are a field sales rep. Again, that's your primary method of communicating with customers and handling your sales cycles. However, you're likely at some point in your career to mentor somebody like a junior salesperson or your BDR, or have somebody report to you that has to leverage virtual selling as the primary tool for doing prospecting and or doing sales. So having that knowledge of virtual selling will definitely be helpful long-term in your career and to your advantage as the sales environment has shifted post-2020. Once you have that right mindset for virtual selling, it's important to also have the right setup. So the first thing we're going to look at is your office setup. So as mentioned, one of the disadvantages of virtual selling is the lack of change of scenery. So with that in mind, it's very important you have your office set up the way that you like, that makes you productive and happy. Now, this won't be a video about setting up your office. I think there's a lot of resources out there on that. But a couple of things to keep in mind is to make sure that whether this is a dedicated space that doesn't really change, or you like to change, whether it's within your office, company office, or your home office, you like to switch your location, that you are somewhere where you can hopefully leverage multiple screens for efficiency. You don't have a place that is noisy and a place that will create distractions, etc. So you can really focus, and you're able to do professional virtual calls and you're not distracted. All right, so once you have your office set up, you will of course need software that is essential, or some of it at least very, very helpful with selling virtually. At the minimum, other than your typical software for sales professionals, you will need software that will allow you to do professional virtual calls such as Zoom, Microsoft Teams, and other alternatives, and also something for online collaboration with your prospects and your customers. Now, things related to software change all the time. So I'm not going to give very specific recommendations here. What I'll do instead, I'll put these with some links in the description of this video, so you can access them there at the YouTube video. If you are watching this somewhere else, not on YouTube, go to Apex Virtual Selling on YouTube, find the video, and there will be some more information on software that will be updated regularly. So you have the right office set up, you have the software. Of course, there will be a couple of pieces of hardware that are essential to your virtual selling. So first of all, I keep saying that in virtual selling in your office, it is very beneficial to have more than one screen, especially if it's a small screen. Also, you will need a source of professional slash semi-professional video input, so that your prospects can see you, your prospect customers can see you. We'll be able to build trust much easier that way. You'll also need a good source of audio, so that you can speak to your customers, and in the conversation they can hear you very clearly. Now, similar to software, I'm not going to make recommendations here, as they would be out of date very quickly. That information will be in the description of the video as well, and it will be updated regularly as well. All right, so these are the basics. You will of course need to underpin all of this with the right virtual selling strategy. So definitely check out some of the other content of ours on modern virtual selling. Please feel free to leave any feedback for any of the points that I made here. If virtual selling in Asia Pacific is something that you need help with, certainly don't hesitate to get in touch with us.